on my journey.
I was reading the little summary you made, and you had we don't have time to reproduce it here, but you had put a list of all the things you couldn't believe that she had to buy into. If she's in the list was an arm long, and I thought it was the greatest collection I've ever seen of all those misunderstandings of the church.
It was total misinformation, misconception.
That you presumed, from your background, that were true. But then you set out, okay, I'm going to check every one of those.
I'm going to check them all.
Be true or not.
Check them all with my mind, so I had to figure them all out. And at that point, I went into two closets. The closet of prayer. I was honest about this. I wanted to know, God, don't lead me astray. Let me know the truth. And you know, a prayer like that, God will always answer. The other closet I went into was study. I became a bookworm and a tapeworm. And of course, I went the Scott Hahn route. And I discovered EWTN. I never heard of it before, just cruising with my monitor. And I think if it were not for EWTN and the Journey Home program, I probably would not be a Catholic today.
I remember when I got that first email from you.
I just read your book.
That's right. You read Halfram Foundation with that? You had read that?
Yes, I had read that.
And I remember getting your email, and you know, my work is a little interesting because I protect people, and I knew that I can't really tell anybody about your interest,
right? Because
of your ministry and everything that you do.
I had to sort of do it all underground, because of my position and my reputation. So that's when I came upon the Coming Home Network, and eventually I got bold enough to attend your conference in Ohio, especially the one a couple of years ago on early church fathers. And that's where I met one of the speakers, Rod Bennett, and I had already devoured his book on the Four Witnesses. I'd learned all about...
Great book.
I had not heard about the early church fathers. In my Christian education, everything began with the Reformation. Before that, nothing mattered. Martin Luther and John Calvin brought the faith back to where it should have been. So I discovered the Coming Home Network, and I discovered Mr. Bennett, and we became friends, and he volunteered to be one of my theological mentors. And I appreciate all the struggle that he went through trying to answer my questions. Then I asked Coming Home Network for a lady mentor, and I was given Dr. Robin Moss, who is in my area.
Yeah, she's been on the program.
She was my more or less spiritual mentor. Now, the interesting about this thing is, we did all of our they did all of the mentoring of me, all by email. I never met Dr. Moss until she came months and months later to my confirmation. I gave them both a really hard time, both Rod Bennett and Dr. Moss, because I insisted on taking every single dogma and doctrine in order to compare it with the scriptures, to figure it all out, do my own mental comparison. But finally I came to the point where there was truth. Every question I had an answer, a historical, theological, biblical answer. And I got brave enough to enroll in the RCIA course. I could have taken a shortcut and found a priest and just kind of did a short course. But I decided I'm going to go the whole 9 yards. And so I was the oldest one in the class, and I went all 9 months. And all the rest of my questions were answered according to my satisfaction. However, I had to stop looking through Protestant eyes. I had to stop leaning on my own understanding and take the step of faith. But I was really afraid. There were things that scared me, because how about my reputation? Right. How about my position in the evangelical world? How about my relationships? Not only my relationships with my family, none of whom were Catholic. Would it shake their faith to see me make such a change in my faith context?
You expressed
there were treasures. There were treasures.
You've expressed so many of your own strong views in your books. I mean, you're in print.
I'm in print, and I was a speaker in evangelical circles, and it was a frightening thing.
Yeah.
I think sometimes Catholics don't realize what a trauma it is for an evangelical to become a Catholic. So I had to weigh all these things. My age entered into that. Those of my age level or younger, we're set in our ways. We have our habits. We have our traditions. We have our circle of people. We have our reputation. All of these things I was fearful of. I was fearful that probably I would be blacklisted as a speaker. And I was speaking quite widely. And my books would probably also be blacklisted.
Gather dust in a warehouse somewhere.
Dust in a warehouse, absolutely. So all of these things were quite frightening, and they're all biggies as far as looking back on your own reputation is concerned.
You know, I know you